David Ospina leads the Arsenal protests to referee John Moss after Nottingham Forest's fourth goal. Photo action images via Reuters. Arsene Wenger was furious with his Arsenal players after the shock FA Cup defeat to Nottingham Forest yesterday, saying that they were not good enough anywhere on the pitch as they kept making the same mistakes. Wenger could only watch from the stands. This was the first game of his touchline ban as his team was ripped apart by Forest. Despite two contentious penalties, Wenger notably did not blame the referee, but blamed his players instead. "I just think we were not good enough anywhere, not at the front, not in the middle, at the back, and we paid for it," Wenger said. "They looked sharper, they had more chances, that's all I can say." Nottingham Forest had an outstanding performance today. You couldn't fault any individual performance from Forest. Arsenal could have been 40 down at half-time, but did not improve after the interval, much to Wenger's fury. They soon went 31 down and could not get back into the game. "You know that when we came back it was important not to make a mistake again," he said. "And that's why it's disappointing. Because during the game we repeated the same mistakes. And that's where we are guilty today once, twice, 3 times. And at that level you cannot afford that." Nottingham Forest's Eric Lickarge celebrates scoring his side's second goal of the game. Photo PA Wenger made plenty of changes but said that he had enough players per Mertesacker. Matthew Debussy, Theo Walcott and Danny Welbeck all played for them to get a result. "I can understand the selection will be questioned," Wenger said. "But it would be a little bit an easy excuse, because we had 8 or 9 experienced internationals on the pitch. If this was not the worst defense of the FA Cup in the modern era, it was in the top 1. Arsenal, or at least a team in Arsenal shirts, were run off the park by Nottingham Forest teams are sunk in championship mid-table that they have just sacked their manager." This was one of those games where the cliches are appropriate or raucous. FA Cup tie where form and status were made completely irrelevant. What mattered was that this was a hungry, driven, dynamic, young Forest team who shredded Arsenal with every attack. Nottingham Forest's Ben Brereton scores his side's 4th goal from the penalty spot. Photo PA As good as Forest were, Arsenal were abysmal. Wenger chose to play what is effectively his Europa League team here, given this was sandwiched between 2 games against Chelsea in the Premier League and EFL Cup. This performance, from a mixture of youngsters and French players, was a disgrace. They never got on the ball, they created nothing from open play, and their defending was disastrous. The only Arsenal player to emerge with any credit was David Ospina, whose first half saves stopped Forest from running away with it. This was an Arsenal team utterly devoid of leadership, fight or organisation. The problem, or at least one of them, was that Wenger put the aging Matthew Debussy and Mertesacker into the back 4 for some babysitting duty. But while Ainsley Maitland-Niles and Rob Holding-Quick, Debussy and Mertesacker are not up against this fast young Forest front 4, the eldest of whom was 22, they simply could not keep up. Forest could have scored 5 in the first half. Arsenal were rattled and just could not keep up with the pace. They gave away a free out wide, Kieran Dowell whipped it into the near post, and there was no one to stop Eric Lickarge thumping his header past Ospina. It made you wonder what was the point of playing Mertesacker if he cannot prevent goals like this. Nottingham Forest fans celebrate after the match. Photo action images via Reuters. Arsene as it happened, Mertesacker was the man to score an out-of-the-blue equaliser 3 minutes later. Theo Walcott curled in a free, Rob Holding's header hit the post and Mertesacker stabbed in the rebound. Forest, though, were flooding forward and the only question was whether the half-time whistle would come before they went ahead. Ben Brereton met a cross from Matthew Cash. Arsenal weakly tried to clear, but it fell to Lickarge on the edge of the box. He chested the ball and volleyed it into the top corner, a goal of ludicrous quality. The game then became about whether Brereton could score. He nearly put in Tyler Walker's near-post cross until Arsenal were generous enough to give him a penalty. Rob Holding clumsily brought down Cash and Brereton seized his chance from the spot. Arsenal did scrape an unlikely goal from their only real attack of the second half. Welbeck, who had barely been in the game, found himself in space and shot. Jordan Smith got a hand on it and the ball trickled home. Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger pictured in the stands at the City Ground, Nottingham. Photo: PA Forest did not let that deter them from their task. Armand Traoré surged down the left, past Mertesacker and then past Debuchy. He tried to make a tackle but brought Traoré down, and Jonathan Moss awarded his second penalty. Dowell took it, slipped, but the ball looped up and into the net. Arsenal players insisted he touched it twice but the goal was given. Copyright Independent News Service Irish Independent.